Hello, lady country balls, gentle country balls, and every country ball in between. I'm your host, United Nations Ball, and I'm here to welcome you to your 2018 72nd Annual Global Trade Sweetheart. Today's sweetheart is going to be the one who holds the hearts of 112 million people. Ethiopia, come on down. Of humble origins, Ethiopia here has had their fair share of issues. As a fairly new arrival to the modern global stage, Ethiopia will need the help of today's contestants to escape their troubled past of poverty, isolation, and violence. It's not all take and no give with all Ethiopia, though, as our contenders today come not only for Ethiopia's heart, but also their massive potential consumer base and their rapidly growing economy. The game show today will be simple. By exploring the most serious trade relationships of this year's sweetheart, we will be helping them explore which relationship is most worth investing in. With that out of the way, let's get into the first contestant, the United States of America. We had actually planned on another nation first, but the United States threatened to pull out of the show this year if we didn't put America first. The United States has a hard-to-get relation with Ethiopia. They will be the only nation today boasting a trade surplus for Ethiopia. Leave it to the Americans to take way more than they give. It's a joke, don't eat you. Speaking of taking things, Ethiopia exports $372 million in a fairly diverse set of goods. Coffee and clothing chief among them. On what the USA is offering, wheat mostly, $47.6 million of the stuff this year. Overall, the combined trade is valued at $518 million annually. Nothing to sneeze at. But perhaps our next contender, India, will be able to shake the Americans off that prize that they are already arrogantly cheering for winning. India, not exactly foreign to being disparaged. As a fast-growing, historically troubled new kid on the block, they've reached much more into that Ethiopian consumer base than the Americans ever dared. Ethiopia exports only $53 million of goods to India, and over half of that is in the $27 million in soya beans. But India, as aforementioned, is more in the game of giving than getting, product-wise. Has Ethiopia importing pharmaceutical products, iron and steel, machinery and appliances, and vehicles and their parts, and more. Overall, their combined trade relationship is valued at $766 million a year. Wow, that is nearly 1.5 times what the Americans have to offer. Joke on it. France has a very professional, formal relationship with Ethiopia. Ethiopia only exports $44 million worth of goods to France, and that is 78% coffee. Even more clinically, one note, Ethiopia imports $722 million, $615 million of that, or 85.2%, being in aircraft, spacecraft, and their respective parts. This relationship might be great for settling down into the same missionary mission once a month, but with India matching more closely in interest and an exact match of their combined trade value at $766 million a year, France has a hard case to make as this year's pick. United Arab Emirates could not be more opposite to Ethiopia's situation GDP per capita wise. So the oil-rich nation may not seem immediately a fitting pick, but their trading history shines a new light on that possibility. Boasting an at least more healthy trade balance, the UAE buys $146 million in goat meat, aircraft engines, and gold ore. Ethiopia, in turn, mostly imports vehicles and their parts, precious metals, gems, and jewelry. having more than 2% less of Ethiopia's $5.9 billion trade deficit, while sporting an additional 61 million combined trade dollars a year. The UAE makes the strongest case yet for... What is that? Oh Lord, no, they're coming. Yes, it's them again. Just hide the other contestants, especially India. China, yes, the consecutive winner of the last several global sweethearts. China does not play around in the game of global trade. Rivaling the Americans, China receives $329 million in Ethiopian exports, or a whopping 14% of their exports, mostly in sesame seeds. The game-ending stat happens to be the $2.5 billion in Ethiopian imports a year, 524 million in non-electrical machinery and appliances, 414 million in non-knit apparel, 358 million in electrical machinery. The list goes on. Even when it's considered that they boast a whopping 37% of Ethiopia's trade deficit, their 27% of Ethiopia's global trade is a fact that makes them too powerful to ignore, making them the no drum roll necessary winners of... I said no drum roll necessary, please. It annoyed them last time, and if my social credit drops any lower, I won't be able to fly home, guys. Making them the winner of the 78th Annual Global Sweetheart. God, I gotta get out of this business.